Non-drinkers of Reddit. What do you tell people when they ask why don't you drink? Can't speak for other people, but personally I don't mind if people drink or not. Only reason I'd ask why don't you drink not in those words is to be considerate. Same if they say they rarely drink. It's purely so I know if it's an occasional thing. If they're a recovering alcoholic, bad experiences, etc. I'm perfectly fine with the not drinking. I just don't want to be rude and have a drink around a recovering alcoholic, or offer them a drink to be polite then offend them because it's against their religion, etc. If someone is simply asking just in passing small talk, I just say I typically choose not to. On the rare occasion someone pushes it, or is an ass about it, I usually come up with something wildly uncomfortable to embarrass them. Such as, I'm under court order not to drink, and regular testing means I can't risk it otherwise I'm back in solitary. Watching my mother get savagely beaten on repeat by her alcoholic husband turned me off alcohol. I'm in therapy for it though, so thank you for your concern. It depends. If they appear just interested, I'll tell them that alcoholism runs in my family, multiple fatalities, and my temperance is hereditary as well. The complete utter lack of it, specifically. So not drinking at all is the better option for me, and a way to honor my ancestors. If they are being an arse about it, I will come up with the wildest possible story. I'm a pregnant Islamic Latter-day Saint on psych meds and thus my parole officer won't let me drink. That level of nonsense. Most people don't realize that alcohol is really bad for you in any amount. It causes cancer. I don't say that. People hate hearing that. And if they don't already know it, they get defensive and angry at you. I tell them I love drinking, and I love being around people drinking, but that I can't drink anymore for health reasons. It happens to be true for me because it upsets my stomach, but I think the idea is to empathize with their experience in the moment and not poop on it. I say no thanks. I don't drink. They say you can have one though. I say no thanks. I don't drink. They say but you could have just one, right? I say no thanks. I don't drink. They say really? You can't just have one with me. I say no thanks. I don't drink. They say you don't drink at all. I say right. I don't drink. They say why not? I say I just don't drink. Eventually, they realize how stupid the sound and shut up. When I used to work at a bar I'd get asked to do shots with PPL all the time. You do your shot of whatever haha, then they'd almost always ask why don't I drink, and I'd get real serious, and look at them and just say I can't. I'm on probation, and they'd always stfoo after that. I think one time someone asked me why I was on probation, and I just said for legal reasons I'm not allowed to discuss. In high school, I was a big partier. I would skip school, drink at parties, you name it. It wasn't until one night I saw how quickly it was all going and how quickly I could have died or raped or anything. I say I don't want to drink because I experienced enough already. Plus, I just don't want to. It doesn't interest me like it used to when I was younger. Plus, I also say it's none of your business why I don't want to drink, so mind your own business. Most never ask past my initial denial to drink. Typically, the only people that I need to give further explanation to are young people and active alcoholics they press on. Pond with something along the lines of trust me, you don't want me to drink, or I void a warranty on my liver already and make light of it, and that usually is about the furthest I have to go. I have a Class A license so my limit is a .04. It's also not worth the calories. If you have someone start being pushy about drinking, get pissed off. Point across. At any time that's happened, someone else who knows me well will step in and be like, hey, you're making him mad, and this is gonna turn into a bad time for everyone if you keep pushing it. I usually just say it's because I'm driving. Honestly, it's because it's terrible for my anxiety. I never think the hangover is worth it. And I don't like what alcohol does to people. I will have a drink or two very rarely, but I haven't been drunk for about a decade. I have two relatives who have died because of drink, and I saw too much of the bad side growing up. When I was much younger I drank a lot. Too much. Till vomiting, and then I continued. and vomited again. But I always was proud of still having control. Like using a toilet or forest to vomit. I was 22 and woke up in my own vomit. Then I stopped drinking. Didn't like that. Still drink a bit, but at most once a year. And at most one beer. Never drunk. I grew up having to go to AA meetings with my mom. Hearing adult stories about how alcohol abuse and addiction messed up their lives had an impact on me. I very distinctly being 8 years old and making a decision to never drink or do drugs to try to break the cycle for my family. Somehow I kept it up. I guess it's easier to never start than to try to stop. I respond with another question. Why do you ask? What are you trying to accomplish by asking that? Does it make you feel uncomfortable that I'm not drinking? Is that any of your business? What do you plan to do with that information? This is a great tactic in many places in life where people are sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. I've got several, depending on the audience and the mood. I don't like alcohol. I made a vow of sobriety. I made a bet with my dad that I would never drink. Just because he's dead doesn't mean the bet is off and I'm in to win. Why do you? Alcohol is so pass. Everyone knows orange juice is the real deal these days. I respond, do you drink? Depending on their response determines my response. When they say it helps them relax, I state I don't need alcohol to help me relax. I use XYZ as relaxation techniques. The conversation around alcohol usually ends there. I find it very offensive when people ask others why they don't drink. I don't drink. If they push the matter as to why I say I'd rather not get into it, then they assume I'm a recovering alcoholic, but really I just like to avoid being that guy who trashes on things other people are enjoying. I've always hated alcohol, but I especially hate people that bag on everyone's good time. Most people just respect it when I tell them. Other times I'll either tell them it's for health reasons, or I'll say it's personal choice. If they ask for more context, then I tell them. But only people who make getting drunk their whole personality seem to be offended by my life choice. Other people don't care. It gives me a headache. But at a party bar and the other person is drunk, I usually tell them that we can talk about that tomorrow. But right now I prefer to have fun. And then I switch the subject. I works quite well. Health reasons. I used to. Never a great deal. For various medical reasons it's not a good idea now. Though I have a small amount on special occasions, so I suppose I'm not strictly a non-drinker. But it's not a question that often comes up, only someone who knows me well would feel it appropriate. I don't really like the taste. If pushed I will then resort to. Alcohol is a cancer-causing substance on par with smoking. I don't smoke either. The kicker is I don't mind red wine and a steak or a beer with wings, and people go nuts if the situation arises when I do decide to grab one. 1. Health. Alcohol affects your health. 2. Looks. I'm to 8 yo. Some people still ask me for my ID when I buy alcohol once or twice a year. I know people who drink a lot and look 5 to 10 years older. 3. I like being sober all the time and not under the influence of anything. I like my mind clear. That's how I met your mom. I drink, but find myself in situations where I don't want to drink with the current company. If anyone asks, I usually tell them I have work to do later in the evening. I found most people just assume you're an alcoholic if you won't drink with them. To relative strangers I say I've switched to non-alcoholic. Because these days it tastes just as good but without the hangover. The real reason is that I'm on painkillers that I can't drink with. But I have no intention of discussing my medical history with people I hardly know. I do drink, but generally only one beer with dinner once a month or so, if that. So on many social occasions, I'm not drinking when others are. I simply tell them I am a crass, loudmouth jerk when sober. You want to turn this party up to 11. Funny part is, it's actually true, that it makes my anxiety and depression so much worse, and I'll hate myself and overthink everything for days afterwards. If I'm not wanting to hit them with anything deep like that, I'll just say I don't need any alcohol to have fun and try and wink or something. You ever had a drunk man come home screaming someone's going to jail tonight, then pound at your door? Likely going to hurt your then little body if he got to you. I don't want to be like that. I also like my liver, and it doesn't taste good. Early on in my sobriety, I didn't have an answer for this. I just said, I don't drink. Now, looking towards 31 years sober, I tell people, 'cause I like myself today, my son doesn't need to see me drunk. I have responsibilities and I don't drink. I rarely drink. I do it just for tasting new things. Unfortunately, many people I know think drinking getting drunk. They don't have fun otherwise. I just say I don't like to drink excessively, and sometimes I'm labeled the boring one. To many life lessons from other family members. If they push, asking what do you mean, I respond with, it's how I lost my dad. My uncles are drunk. And one of my aunts killed 3 of her friends in her car. She was the only survivor. Most don't ask, but when they find out, they think there's something wrong with me. I do drink no beer and enjoy it. They ask, why would you drink beer without alcohol? My response is, why would you drink orange juice without vodka? I never really asked, but I would say that I was raised not to. And I never really had a desire to either. I also have health issues, and I don't think alcohol would help them. Not that I won't ever drink, but right now I'm good.